Why does it say play? Are we supposed to hit the play
Hello
button?
there. Oh, you completely played the wrong thing.
Oh, is that what it is? That's supposed to be countdown for the.
That's for tonight.
All right. Well, that was in the file, so that's what got pulled. Everybody, we are the Jedi Archives. We are doing the Skeleton Crew Aftershow. If you are new to the show, introductions order. My name's Jonathan.
I'm Mike.
I am Bryce.
And we're gonna do issue guide. Too many comics. Episode
7.
But first off, we do hope that everybody in California is safe. I know we're experiencing some technical difficulties on our end right now because 2 of you guys are in California. I just happen to be at 10 degrees, Fahrenheit right now.
And
it's freezing here. It's like 60.
That is cold for you guys.
Well, our problem is the wind.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's affecting everything. It's dropping power lines. So that's why I'm going in and out. But so you guys know. All right. Did we get a title of this?
Yes, it's We're Gonna Be in So Much Trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 7.
Isn't that also similar to the name of the episode of 2?
I don't remember any of the time. I remember No Friends.
Well, yeah, we had No Friends again. I remember that one. Crud, man. I thought there was another one about because they were outside the barrier and how much trouble they were going to get in. Maybe it was just a line in it.
I just haven't. I'm trying to look it up, but
episode 2 was way past the barrier.
Okay,
this could be a real adventure. Way past the barrier. Mm-hmm. So, but this could be a real adventure.
This was first viewing opinion. This is with the pendulum.
The penultimate.
Where we stopped building up story moving. And so we saw some definite progression of story. And I think we saw some nails in the coffins. We'll get to those when we get to some writing on the wall.
It might have been on X and Blue Sky, but the Resistance podcast had put something out there with is this, is episode 7 going to be the race to Atten? And I'm like, my response was like, for sure. That's definitely what it's going to be, and that's kind of what it turned out.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, well, everyone got what they wanted. The kids got home. Yeah, the kids got home. They're reunited with their parents.
Are they really home though?
Listen, everyone got what they wanted. The kids made it at. The parents got reunited with the kids.
The credits roll. The show's over. Credits.
I mean, everything's what it was meant to
be,
right?
A murderer.
Yeah. No.
Why isn't everybody happy? The kids made it home.
The kids are still being held hostage. Let's just get straight to it. John,
you guys listen. The kids wanted to get home. The parents wanted to be reunited, and John wanted the credits. Everything's happy, right? Happy.
Well, unless you're
no
or SM33.
Dude, he'll be repaired.
I don't know, man. He got the lightsaber treatment.
A few little screws. I bet you he's already fixed. I bet you the KB already fixed him. We just haven't seen him.
KB's got a lightsaber to her throat right now. There's no way she's gonna fix him.
A little welding.
Mike's trying to glam up. Like he's trying to glam up this episode, but inside he really is like, "How dare you!" Exactly what it was.
This episode made me on. There's obviously some high points and low points. High point is it made me have the most reactions and definitely not what I thought a lot.
Right.
It makes me kind of against a little bit of the idea of this streaming a little bit more. This should have run. The big gap between what's happening is hurting. I think 7 minutes of oh my god, and then well, what's next, Auntie? He needs to. This is the I think one of the times where the streaming really should have been part of a 2-hour movie, and we could have gone all our roller coasters for 4 seconds, come back a week later, and ride the next 400 feet of it, whatever. I'm having a little bit of trouble with that, but this episode really had for me. It was a good part of the roller coaster.
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed the ruthlessness of Jod finally coming into his pirate self, and realizing that all of his niceties were really just an act. And
Oh, yeah, no,
him
yeah,
admitting
100%.
that he finally admits, you know what, you guys, it was been grinding on me. Your
Mhm,
incessant whining, and him telling he was just so brutal, saying, "Your constant whining, you're
mhm,
bratty little kids, and you're so weak." And he's like on the ground, heads down, and he gets a lightsaber out, waves it at them, and he has it at the same angle that Anakin had it at those poor little kids in Episode 3.
Yeah, but did you notice though, like, I didn't feel like his lightsaber, like movements and stuff were very fluid. They felt clumsy. If and I don't know why, but I felt like as he was trying to wave it around, it wasn't as smooth as I thought it would have been.
Yeah.
So eh,
Really
I
wield the
think,
lightsaber properly, you really have to be using the force so you don't hurt. So it's part of an extension of the force with you using it. The
yeah,
tool, like he's using
I,
it, I could see how you'd be a little
yeah,
more.
it just didn't
Well,
feel as smooth.
Well,
remember, it wasn't. It's still he still wields it properly because in the Mandalorian he struggles with the weight of the dark
I was gonna
saber.
say
It's
Mandalorian is
heavy,
perfect.
but he's not struggling with it at all. He was
Yeah, but
very
I don't.
swift with
But
it,
I think that
chopping
that
off.
struggling thing was specific to the dark saber. I don't think that's the same with every saber because you'll also notice that Kanan, when he's training Ezra, never brings that up. The only time he brings up the weight of anything, it was the dark saber when he was training Sabine. So I believe the way the dark saber is constructed and the type of lightsaber it is, that's very prevalent in that type of lightsaber. Like, because think about this: if you look at the Force Awakens, Finn picks up the lightsaber, no problem, uses it, no
But
problem.
he's not smooth either. He's a very
But he's not, and we understand come Rise of Skywalker, we understand that he's force sensitive. Like there's no arguing that. But and so's Jot. But what I guess what I'm saying is like it just I don't know. It didn't feel
yeah.
to me anyway like it was something that he was used to using. But as far as like the heaviness thing, I think that's really specific just to the dark saber because of how it was constructed and who it was constructed for.
Yeah. I
Maybe.
agree, but I think because he was using it for instead of using it through the force is why it comes out more clunky.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think because he's
Yeah.
not using the force, he's picking it up and using it as a tool of
Yeah.
fear.
Or a
Very
weapon.
good observation.
Like it's more of like a tool for fear.
I mean, like we're going to be clumsy. We're not going to be all like.
Well, but we also discussed in the past that he only uses the force to his advantage. He doesn't use it to help people. So again, he's a force user. You couldn't call him a Jedi, and you certainly can't call him a Sith.
Yeah.
He's a force user that knows how to turn on a lightsaber and at least cut a droid's head off.
Yeah. So one thing that this really sure changed a lot of people's version of John. Some people kind of saw it coming. I did, this is going to be a attempt for redemption at him. I don't think he can be redeemed anymore. Cold,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
cold chop of the threatening this family. So now John reminds me of, and this is a copycat of a story almost. If it wasn't so old to be copyright infringement, but the kid on the ship befriends the cook, and taking over everything just for the treasure, and the cook seems to like. But it's really he's the bad guy. I don't know if you guys saw the movie Treasure Island. They did a Muppet movie.
No, I
All
heard
for the
Ship and
treasure.
Chef and thought you were talking about Steven Seagal in Under Siege.
No, Treasure Island.
No, I
So
know.
this
I was just giving you a hard time.
almost exactly like Treasure Island to me. Now that I'm seeing it and try and endear
But
himself with the kid. So
there
it
definitely could be
is.
influence from that movie. I mean, it's not just
Yeah.
we got Goonies.
Yeah.
We know they're pirates. We see a very the way the Onyx Cinder looked. Especially like where the captain's quarters would look like an actual pirate ship that we'd see in
Mhm.
Pirates of the Caribbean. So I
Right,
mean,
right.
there's definitely pulls from a lot of stuff. Treasure Island
Treasure Island's a
definitely
perfect
could
pull
be.
too.
Yeah,
It could be an
yeah,
influence. That's a good call,
yeah.
Jonathan. Mhm.
Well, I'm saying it's the. This is not the treasure. I forget the captain's, the cook's name in Treasure. That character almost to the T. So I really got that after this, and it made a lot more. I think Jude Law is doing a fantastic job. I don't know if anyone can see me right now,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
but
yeah,
Jude
he's
Law is
killing
doing a
it.
fantastic job.
He's done such a great job of acting that now, like most of the Star Wars fandom's like, you're a jerk. Why would you do this
Yeah,
to these kids?
absolutely. I mean,
So
the only thing he could have done to solidify his evilness is he could have stepped on that little rat. If he had
Oh my
stepped
he
on
thought
that
God.
he was
rat,
going to,
I
and
thought
he
he was gonna
really
step
thought he
on.
was going to.
My heart was about to bleed. I thought he's gonna kill the little rat. I'm like, please don't step on the rat. Please don't step on the rat.
Yeah.
But he kicked him aside. I'm like, I was this close to really hating him, but
Well, I mean, he still mistreats the little rat guy, but
I
at
know.
least he didn't kill
But
him.
when he shot Brutus, I could not believe it. I was like, this is a kids
You didn't?
show.
I knew that was coming. I knew
But
that was coming as soon
he
as it
shot
was.
him point blank though. Point blank.
Mhm.
Like that was
It was off camera, thank goodness. But yeah, that was
I
a
but
pretty harsh
still,
moment.
that was pretty brutal for a
Yeah.
kids show.
right when it happened, but like 2-3 minutes before. So once you saw him trapped, he picked up the gun and was like, "Oh, Brutus is done." But
Yep, I did too.
his character is kind of, to me, it's like, even though he's killing the villain.
He's killing his competition. He's not killing the
Yeah.
villain at that point
Yeah.
because he is solidified as the alpha as far as the villains go. Like he's the certified alpha at this point.
Yeah. So it is a
absolutely.
By doing
180.
that.
I thought where he was going to end up. I think he might actually
Yeah.
not make it to the end of the series now. Now that he's
And honestly, that probably, yeah, I could see that. Unless the only thing it would take a miracle is that if somehow he guides that pirate ship in the frigate,
The frigate.
which is cool, by the way. Like that thing's sweet.
That's that
Doesn't
medical
really,
frigate. Yeah.
yeah. But if he guides that in and sees the kids maybe getting harmed, because I don't think he ever wanted to harm the kids. Like I said, I think he uses the lightsaber as a tool of fear to keep them in line to do what I really don't know if he would necessarily kill the kid's parents in front of them, kind of thing. Like, I mean, he went to a dark place. I know who your parents are thanks to that hologram. If you don't cooperate, I'm going to do this. Like, dude, that's like a Liam Neeson movie. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to find you.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. So, like, it was a pretty dark episode towards the end, and I could tell with Sophia next to me, and she was like, "I don't know if I don't know if I like him. And I'm like, it's okay. It's okay not to like him because Daddy doesn't like him right now.
Those are pretty
But
ugly
we're
things
meant
to
to not
say
like
kids.
them. They did a good.
Those are pretty ugly things to say to kids.
Yeah, I mean, the episode was great, and I think it sets up. But the only thing that he could redeem is like if harm was potentially coming to the kids specifically, to the kids. That's the only way I see him turning, but it's going to be like a almost like a Ben Solo moment, right? Like right at the very end, and he's going to sacrifice himself. Like
Well,
that's I don't
I
you
don't
know what I
think
mean?
I don't think he and I don't think he cares to harm the kids. That's not his goal. He doesn't necessarily want to harm them. He just wants he wants all the gold, right? He wants all those dataries. That's what he wants.
And I think this might stem back from, and maybe we'll get this. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a like a one shot comic on like his force training if he was even trained. Because it's possible he's just a force user and made his way through the galaxy just like Boba Fett, or you know what I mean? Like I'm just a simple man trying to like he could have been a force user and never trained. That's a possibility. Why we see him use the force to his advantage versus helping people. Maybe he was never trained. Maybe he just figured this out all on his own. Or
But
maybe we'll get
how would he
Wim.
have known? How would he have known those things like what Qui-Gon told Anakin and so many of those Jedi things, though?
Yeah, yeah.
He
That
watched
one
it on
line
Disney
kind of
Plus.
Yeah.
that one line would probably you're right. That one line that matches
So,
Qui-Gon's to a T is definitely a
yeah.
Jedi thing. But
I
There's
mean,
some
no,
very
Jedi
specific
don't hide
things,
their teachings. So
what's that?
but they're not public knowledge.
yeah, but I don't see saying, "Oh, you can't know this line, this rhetoric. You can't." He's gonna if you now you know it. I don't think it's like a trade secret, copyright. It's
No,
I
it's probably within the teachings. Um, but
teaching,
then
but
I
I'm saying
would
it's not
argue that
secret.
maybe he overheard it
Yeah.
when a
So I'm
Jedi was talking to his Padawan. I don't know. Like, I would like to get some backstory. I don't think we're going to get it though. I really don't think we're going to get backstory of of John and who he was prior to this show, unless it's
Yeah.
written down somewhere.
that's my three. I had before this is over, and Jod Nawad or Jod Nod Nawad, Scarlet Steve or whatever they call him nowadays. What's his?
It's Captain Silvo.
Yes.
He's officially kind
Yeah.
of gone back to Captain Silvo.
I
I'm
want to
just waiting
know
for Wim.
his
I'm just waiting
backstory.
for Wim to like force push him off a cliff.
Jod Nana would.
So I
Jod
that's what
Nana
I want to
would.
know his mystery. Is he a Jedi? What's not? If it's a flashback, I need to know. Well, at Atten's history, why they've been lost, and I think we'll get that information too.
I think we
Um,
have. I think. Well, funny thing you say this about Atten and all this other stuff. I don't know when it's coming out, but there is a new complete locations book coming out this year. I don't remember the date, but I wouldn't be surprised if Atten was not in that book, knowing it comes out after this, to put it in there and give it to you in one of those reference books. So it
sometimes those reference books they have a cutoff date, and I remember I have the timelines books about the the what do they call it, the Mandalorians. It's not in it, even though the book was released after, but because there's a cutoff date, so sometimes they don't make it in there. But we'll. But I definitely need to know more about the Attons and their history and the
yeah, I
Well,
agree. It'd be sweet.
all the jewels of the Old Republic, actually.
that's called the
I want to know
jewels. Yeah.
about all of them.
I feel like that's something that we would get in a book, maybe not a comic book, but maybe an actual book.
Well, if we ever got that movie that was promised about the origins of the Jedi.
We are the James Mangold.
Yes.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll
the
know
Dawn
about
of the Jedi. We are
the Dawn
getting
of the
that.
Jedi. If we get that film, maybe we'll know about the Jewels of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I don't know when that specific film's coming out. That might be the 2027 project. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna.
I know Mandalorian and Grogu is a definite 2026. They're filming Ahsoka season 2 this year. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I would love to see it. I just think it's going to be written down somewhere. But the Dawn of the Jedi, I'm not sure if they would cover the jewels of that, because it seemed like it was an old Republic thing. So that kind of like the Dawn of the Jedi, and then you're going to come forward quite a bit to get to the Old Republic, which I'm still
Yeah,
hoping.
or maybe the
Like
Old Republic already exists before the. I mean, could be either way.
well, I mean,
But
yeah, like if you go back to the canon books, the very first book is Dawn of the Jedi, and the very next one is um one of Drew's Old Republic books. Like it literally goes Dawn of the Jedi, Old Republic, Red Harvest, Old Republic, and then Old Republic again.
yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of content there.
I
What
mean,
I hope
it'd be
is we get. Oh, go ahead, Jonathan.
off because you
And
can
you're
start
frozen.
off a couple. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
start
now.
if you do it right. Have the Jedi start, then have the Sith come around, and it forges the New Republic. I mean, you get a couple good movies like that, and it could be. I'd really be down for that.
Yeah, I kind of hope. Yeah, I think it would be cool when it comes to the Old Republic. I don't know if we necessarily need a movie trilogy, but maybe a couple seasons of a show would work.
Oh, I'm so over shows. Just saying, like
I want a
Dude,
movie.
movies.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too. I'm
yeah.
just with the Old Republic. Like I'm just thinking, like, do you do 3 movies, or
I
can
think
you break each book up into one season? Right? If you were to go back and say, hey, we want to pull this Old Republic stuff and make it canon now, like, can you take like each book and then put it in a season? Because then it's going to be longer than a movie, and you'll get more
they're
content that way. And do
if they
four
did,
seasons.
they would
Commit
rewrite
to
it
it.
completely. If they did, they would rewrite it completely. They would.
You could rewrite the
Yeah.
story, but you can't ignore the characters. There's too many that are like.
They killed off Luke Skywalker. They kicked. They could do whatever they want.
Well, but you wouldn't sit there and do anything with the Old Republic and not bring in Darth Nihilus or Darth Malik or Darth Malgus, and
I'd
especially
agree.
not Darth Revan. Like
If
you
100%
can't.
would be smart, but yeah.
You just can't. I mean, Hasbro's still making figures of them, and now Sideshow's getting into it. I don't know if you've seen it, but they just did.
Those could be non-canon.
No, if we did have an
Well,
Old
they
Republic,
are
we
right
gotta.
now, but it would be cool if it would be nice to bring them in. And and it's funny because Sideshow's now starting to get into those Old Republic figures. They have a Darth Revan. They just released for pre-order Darth Malgus. There's something brewing. You don't just
Yeah.
after so many years, the Sideshow has been around for 30 years, right? You don't just all of a sudden start making Old Republic figures because we ran out of things to do.
I don't know. There's not a lot of for Lucasfilm does, but I do. It makes
We
sense.
know there's movie trilogies in the works. I don't remember who
That'll
it
never
is. It's
happen.
not Ryan Johnson, but there's somebody working on 3 movies, and it's been confirmed.
And
I just hope Rogue
this-
Squadron comes back to the table.
I think it is back.
Because I would love to see Patty
Remade.
Jenkins actually get that done. That
I
would
want to
be
see that
amazing.
too. I want that to come back too.
But we have totally went off the rails, started talking about projects that are not called Skeleton Crew.
Wait, so I wanted to
If
talk
this is
about
what
my
you get when
last
three of us are together, this is it. This is what you get.
mystery that I would like to get solved is more about. I would like to know more about him and at Atten, his
Who?
connection. Reynard, is
Um,
that his name? Renard,
yeah, down or backwards. The director of goodness.
captain of the Onyx Cinder. So
Yeah.
Smee. I would like to learn
Can
more
we
about his connection.
can we talk
Now that one's
about?
not necessary, but I would like to learn that one.
But I want to know how he got this ship. Like, not maybe so much about him, but I mean, I guess you would get stuff. But how did he acquire that ship? Because as we see in the previous episode, like she hits the button that's you're not supposed to hit, just like Wim did, and
Right.
then this thing just blows off, and this shiny, really awesome ship comes out of it, right?
An
Because we all say the
At-Atten
Onyx
ship. It's an At-Atten ship.
is a ship at least designed to go through what the nebula or whatever, as they could
Right.
because remember
Well,
they
they said
also said it
it's an
was.
At-Atten ship, and that's why it's able to go through the barrier.
I didn't know if it was like a ship that they made there, or if it was just a ship that was supplied to the Republic, so
No,
that the
they said
emissaries could transfer
me,
in between.
SM-33 later said that it was the genius of the captain was that he acquired an At-Atten ship, and
Ah, okay.
that would be able to pass through the barrier. That was his secret or his genius, and so that ship was an At-Atten ship that could pass through the barrier.
Because it
That's
still
why
doesn't
the
explain why when he made the Onyx Cinder and he put all that stuff over it, why it crashed.
I
That's
think that's
that's a mystery to me. Now,
I think
Mhm.
that's camouflage. So when he's out in space, I mean, first sight, he's like,
oh no,
not that ship.
100% it was camouflage. No, I totally agree with that. But then, why was the ship able to pass through this time with no problems, without all the extra hull material, but it was crashed, buried, upside
I
down,
don't.
like
It was
I
upside
don't
down.
think it was. I don't
It was
think it was
upside down.
crashed.
It was
I think
crashed
it was
because it was
intended.
upside down.
Well, there's no proof of that. It was there underground. I think it could have.
No, it was
Right.
upside down, Jonathan. It was
That
upside
doesn't mean it
down.
crashed. My phone's upside down. Doesn't mean that it crashed.
Why
So
my
I
would a
think it
ship
was.
phone
be
is
up?
upside down.
Why would
My
a
phone's
ship be?
sideways,
Okay, my
and
To hide
car
it.
is upside down.
It could have been put
yeah,
on.
Mike didn't go out there and just decide, hey, I'm going to enter a strongman contest and just flip my car over.
Yeah, it's just, there's no proof that it crashed. I think it
Oh
was
my
placed there
gosh.
to hide.
Okay, Jonathan.
Upside down?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
You could not use that in court. You are, what's the word? You're coming to
So
conclusions.
so then were they were they all walking on their hands when the captain got stabbed with his own dagger? Because he would have been upside down too.
No, he parked it upside
He parked it upside down.
to hide it. Yes.
But then
Okay.
how did the captain go upside down and get killed? That's what I'm asking. Were they walking on their hands?
No, there's walking on. Parked upside down. He's walking on the ceiling.
Oh my gosh. Well, then he would have been upside down when the ship flipped up right side up. Oh,
Too much
man.
into it. I think we're getting really into the. Oh, it's too much.
Well,
I
I
want to
mean,
know.
when you
I want
I
to
don't
know.
think we're
make
even
a
supposed to.
I have a mystery that I want solved too. I want to solve the mystery of the supervisor because the
yes,
Yes.
supervisor is like the wonderful Wizard of Oz. So this supervisor,
hmm
is this supervisor because I've been thinking the supervisor
you know who
is
it's voiced by, right?
yes, Stephen Fry, which is cool.
Yeah.
But is
Mhm.
Stephen Fry a droid? Is Stephen Fry I'm thinking is Fry a droid like the
Yeah, no, I
droid
agree with that.
on
The
Batu?
supervisor.
Because Batu has this droid that they added that it's the droid who has a recorded voice of the scientist who left his voice in the droid, and now this droid it's hundreds of years later, is remembering the story of the scientist. So maybe Stephen Fry's voice is of a human, but now this droid is retaining that story of the human,
Yeah.
but the droids are now enacting all the wishes of this human, but they don't remember it. So it's kind of matrixy, so it's you have all these droids running all these wishes of this human, what he had left in place, but after all these centuries, it's still uh, doing these wishes of this human, but it's all droid run, and that's why even the mothers were like, Marie and Gary were like, "You droids don't listen," right? When she told them right before the Onyx Cinder came in,
Yeah.
and so the supervisor might be this droid, but it's like it's supposed to be a human, but it's a human who has long ago died.
Or it could be like the captain of the ship in Wally and just up in his nest the whole time, making sure everything's working in order.
True.
So yeah, but I agree with that, Mike. Like that's probably, besides seeing that John falls off a cliff, that yeah, the supervisor is very, very intriguing.
Right, because he said
Um,
he would have to speak with a super. Remember, the droid tells him he would have to speak with a supervisor to be
correct.
able to
And he
contact the
invites the
ship.
supervisor to come down, and then we see the ship come down, but it's the parents and not the supervisor.
Right, and because he says, "Oh, you would have to speak to the supervisor," and Job's like, "Oh yeah, supervisor, better than speaking to droids," and the droids are
Right.
like, doesn't say anything, right? So it's like,
Right.
let's see,
I
interesting,
I believe
Maybe
100% we'll figure
ND5.
that.
Maybe the supervisor's ND5.
maybe.
Wouldn't that be something?
I think it's gonna be a droid. If it's a human, it's gonna be like a weird reveal. So
Yeah,
I
the
think
only
it's
Maybe
gonna
it's
be a
weird thing
droid.
maybe it's a
is
little
that
maybe
it
it's a
didn't.
little rat. It's a little rat that was inside of SM-33's eye socket.
It was me
Yeah,
all along.
but when we hear the voice, it didn't sound droidish.
Now.
So, but
Right, but
yeah,
that's
that
why
mystery has to. I
I
think
thought
that
it
mystery will get solved.
I thought it could be the voice, like the voice that was recorded in the droid on Batu. So, Jonathan, you know the droid on Batu that tells the story right before the fireworks?
No,
Yeah, the one that they added. Oh, only on Batu West because Batu East
just
doesn't have
making
our
stuff up.
droid. I'm not making stuff up. He's the droid. Stop it.
Jonathan was frozen just now, and he was turned kind of sideways, so his actual earphone looked like a nebula.
It did. His name is Bard. Bard is the droid only here on Batu West that tells the
If I
story
were to
of
guess, it's a droid.
Bard was also the guy that killed Smog in The Hobbit.
Bard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
so he's the droid here on Batu West.
And Stephen Fry was in that movie too.
Oh,
So I have
ooh,
timeline and just at in itself. Asked emissary visited. That's my question. Saying
Yeah, and you
hundreds of
don't hear that
years,
term emissary anymore either.
but then his parents are so like, oh, get an emissary. Like it's almost. But then I was really confused on that. So to me, like I'm having trouble. Last time Captain Renard was there, is Captain Renard hundreds of years old? Mystery. That's something I need to know a little bit more about the timeline of this.
There's definitely
Would
been
like to know.
time. There's definitely been time because Jod even says there's nobody that's ever met him. It's all the stories that have been passed along. So
right.
Oh, he said
it could.
nobody's ever met him.
Yeah,
You can tell. Yeah, he's like, oh, you're talking about the famous sign, and then he goes, oh, this is the Onyx Cinder.
yes.
That tells me that everything that they know
It's
is
tails. Mm-hmm.
right, and it's also why the hologram was so discombobulated too, is that because it was so old,
So old. Mm-hmm.
and that And they didn't reveal, and that's the one thing too. Like I was like, man, that'd be kind of cool to just if that was just like a really cool cameo from somebody that you know.
Somebody did zoom in on that video,
Yeah.
and they did show they couldn't see who it was, but it was alien species that's the same like Hondo, but it wasn't Hondo because the
Or
accent's
Weequay?
different.
Or
Yeah, Weequay. It was a Weequay. So when they zoomed in on that video from that episode when they're inside the
Well, and
lair.
speaking of Hondo, I think we can put to bed that Hondo's not showing up in the series because he would have showed up by now.
Oh yeah, Hondo's not.
the director said, so.
But there is a season 2. They are working on a season 2. A season 2 was greenlit for Skeleton Crew.
Where did you hear that?
I heard they have a story for it, and it's separate from this. They don't rely on each other at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they do something, I would love to see another series, but because this was filmed in 2022, those kids are now a lot older to where you couldn't have a fluent storyline, which is unfortunate.
One thing though, I did notice
it could be a time jump.
Yeah, 2 time jump, that's fine, but I don't think they intersect too much on the story. Neil went off in space, and they went to go look for Neil or anything like that. I think
right
like that. And if they do,
yeah, I just don't know if you could fast forward 3 years and it makes sense. Because you gotta think like if they would be filming this, it wouldn't be filmed this year. It would be filmed next year, and that's like 4 years in between. So you'd have to write a story that way, and I don't know. You can't do a Skeleton Crew reunion show, I guess.
So,
unfortunately, things in Hollywood weren't that great, so a lot of things got shut down. So,
mine, that was called the Vault, was freaking cool.
Yeah,
the 1,139 vault.
And that was one of them. I just made a mess.
Yes, Mike.
Come on, who's gonna pick that up? You gonna leave the droids to pick up all that? But that was that's how you flood a market. It worth nothing is have that much currency. But I don't know if you guys, especially Deep Space Nine, but that's Latinum. Those are called Latinum strips.
And did he say it was 1,139?
He said 1,139.
Not 38.
1,139. Yes.
He said others, so there's 1,100.
No, he said how many total vaults are there?
Yeah.
Oh, I said how many other vaults are there?
How many total? And the droid said 1,100. There are a total of 1,139 vaults. So
close.
That's a lot.
So close.
That's a lot of.
John, you understand why I'm arguing with him about him saying 1139 and
1138. Isn't that the THX?
Yeah.
Yeah. There were a bunch of Easter eggs in the episode. I mean, from the very beginning, we had Neil's mom saying, Numa was like, I've got a bad. She almost said, I got a bad feeling. She didn't get to
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, when they were going to send the little ET drone to send the message.
Oh, and yes, that did exactly remind me of the ET.
Right? With all the lights? When they had all the lights?
Yes.
ET?
That was freaking cool.
Because Undersecretary Farah had got the code.
Coincidentally, doing it in the woods.
In the woods with all the flashlights, just like ET, when they're going to send the message. And she's like, I got a bad feeling. And then they
stunned her.
they stunned her, and she's like, she fell. And they're all like taking turns trying to like program it, and they all got stunned, and they're like taking turns, got stunned, and then
Oh, they did actually say the this was a clear reference to that movie though, even though they said 11:39 versus 11:38.
what movie?
It was so in Intelligent when they said the 11:39, it was a direct reference to THX 11:38, which is the
Oh,
movie that George did in
at USC.
72, 71, 72,
Yeah, that was
somewhere right
his
there, early
student film.
early 70s. Yeah, so it was a direct reference, even though they didn't use the actual number.
To
Would have
1138.
been cooler if they did the real number, but
It's
I
kind
get
of
it.
almost. It's like a bad reference.
It's
kind
a
of
very bad reference because we all
kind
know
of failed at it.
1138.
Yeah.
We all know 1138, and we're ready for it. We're all on the edge of our seats. We're like 1139.
Right.
Wah, wah.
And we also we do
We're
know
so
that
close to greatness.
Captain Enox from Ahsoka is a direct reference to those police officers in the movie too.
Yes.
So
Oh. But
All
yeah,
right,
that
guys.
ET and that little thing looked like the ship too in ET.
you know the vault thing, even though it was on a grander scale, did remind me of the Imperial Vault in Andor.
Yes, it did. Mhm.
You know, minus the shootout.
Right, right.
That's coming next
And it
episode.
reminded me of DuckTales too. Woo!
What
Go swimming in there, do the backstroke.
Oh yeah, the way that everything. Yeah, he took one
it,
thing off and it all started coming down.
And
wouldn't it
his
be
laugh.
poetic, John? Nah, where it meets his end is by being collapsed under all that.
Yes.
You want it all? You can have it.
Yeah, I do hope we
Yes.
get the supervisor reveal. I'm hoping this episode's a little bit longer. So, but
Fingers
I think
crossed.
the captain's information backstory can be. I think that's fine. The supervisor needs to be. It's not a huge thing, but it needs to be revealed in this episode. I think John next episode, and I guess the at history and the other doesn't have to be revealed in this episode. It could be.
I think that gets revealed somehow in
I
writing.
just don't want
But
them relying so. They need to. That's what I'm saying. They need to start getting back into movies. Put everything in the goddamn movie. And it complicated for people. That's why Ahsoka really struggled. Off-screen stuff. You got to put it all on screen to make it successful. So, see,
there's no way you could put Ahsoka into a movie though. You'd be leaving out so much.
it should have been. It should reintroduce the character. Everybody. We should not have been Rebels. Let's reintroduce the character, and then maybe Ahsoka season 2 could be Rebels season. That's it. Does not have a lot of the best ratings because it's just on it.
Well, that's because John Drake was hitting 1 stars because of the Purgo.
Yeah, that's the real reason.
He went
why.
on every platform, 1 star.
No Purgle, no Purgle.
Purgo.
All right, guys.
Thoughts on it? You guys? What do you guys think?
Hyperface Props are the official sponsors of the
we're gonna-
Virtual Cantina Special Edition in Japan. Pre-order your credits and cosplay props at www.hyperspaceprops.com. Use code NSVCSE for 10% off your dataries.
Does it say that?
Oh, I said that.
I literally need to find people here in town and form a Sabak league.
Fun. Oh, follow us on Instagram at virtual.cantina network, on X, formerly Twitter at Cantina Virtual, on Threads at virtual.cantina network, on Hive at Virtual Cantina, on TikTok at Virtual Cantina, and like the VCN Star Wars Celebration Japan 2025 Facebook page. Shout out to our sister pages, Star Wars Celebration. Oops, no.
Star Wars
Book
Comic Book
Nerd.
Club and Star Wars Book Nerds.
Please like, comment, subscribe. We would love. Kurt,
So
keep doing
he's
this.
doing his silly face.
And freezing.
Because his video is so far behind, he's doing his silly face and he's talking at the same time.
And freezing.
Yes,
Jeez.
fantastic one, guys.
Jonathan.
I like the episode. It definitely sets up for, I think, a really, really good finish.
Yeah.
But yeah, hoping Jod might have found a little room in his heart to be nice.
No.
But he went straight evil.
Straight evil.
He's gonna get
The
what's
whole
coming.
time thought he was going to redemption until this episode. I'm like,
You know what?
He-
I thought so too.
He's going to the mines.
yeah,
He's going to the
he's
mine.
gonna collapse
Yep.
up on his ship by the giant cannon on this school. Either one.
And you know
he's
what,
done.
Jonathan? Jonathan, I think you were right about that woman character. I think that's his mom. I think that might be his mom.
It-
Because notice she always like she's
Again,
the
a
one that
second
saved
time.
him. She saved him from the airlock too again. Notice that. I think that's his mom.
Maybe he sweet talks her.
I don't.
Or
but
maybe
I don't know. I don't know if it's
maybe
that.
he
but
gives her a little something, something. I don't know.
But remember, he
sweet
says
talks her. Yeah.
he says to Brutus. He says something. He goes, "No, the crew loves me. No,
Yeah, he does.
The crew loves me."
He does. He
So
does
I
do
think
that.
there's a lot of loyalty that he still has, and obviously, hey, there's a score, and there was like
Yeah.
one credit in the whole measly thing, and Brutus was quick to, because remember he told Brutus that he was a mutinous whatever.
Yeah, he did.
So I think Brutus forced his way in, which you see it in pirate movies all the time with mutiny and all that other stuff. But
Yeah.
there's probably some fealty there with that crew, and she may
but
be like,
especially
I hate
her.
Brutus.
But have you noticed?
Yeah.
her in
Oh, yeah.
particular?
Yeah.
Because Jonathan mentioned it first, and I've been paying special attention to her every time. And she does. If you notice her in particular in the background, and from the beginning, I've been rewatching the episodes, and her in particular, she always has like a special eye for him, for Jod. So I think maybe she might be his
Well,
mother.
Have you noticed the other lady that's kind of wearing like almost like stormtrooper type armor?
The one
Mhm,
that he said
mhm.
she should be commanding her own ships.
Yes,
Yes.
her.
She was Jeff Goldblum's like right hand person in Thor Ragnarok.
In the Thor movie. Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's
she
funny.
sits there and calls out Tessa Thompson's character for being drunk all the time.
That's right.
That's just, yeah. So it was
That's
cool
right.
to see her
Star
now
Wars,
in a
finally.
Marvel and now in a Star Wars thing. So that was real cool. I appreciate that.
That is cool.
And
So
we got
All
an
right,
Oracle.
guys. Appreciate you.
We appreciate you watching. Is what he's
Yeah.
trying to say.
We appreciate
Which
you
we do.
watching.
Please like, subscribe, comment.
Comment. More funny
And,
faces from
yeah.
Jonathan.
We'll see you for the finale next week. May the force be with you.
Live long and prosper.
Bye.